Let's discuss how e-invoicing accelerates digital factoring. Embedded invoice finance is a perfect way to offer invoice finance. It's event-based. It is offered in the very right moment when a customer actually might need this finance, or at the very moment when invoice is issued. And mandatory invoicing, as we know, is becoming obligatory in several years in the European Union countries. Here in the panel, we have representatives of countries with different status of mandatory invoicing implementation. We have Hungary, where invoicing was implemented several years ago. We have Poland, where mandatory invoicing was postponed again. And as Camila mentioned, in April, government should announce a new date of implementation. And we have Romania, where mandatory invoicing is coming into force right now this year. And in all these countries, we have digital factoring process, of course, where the customer can upload the invoice in PDF and set it for the finance. And if we get back, Boglarka, to your use case, you developed it several years after mandatory invoicing implementation, right? And you mentioned that the penetration rate for digital factoring is 35-40%.
It's, I think, very great result. So what's their perception of the process? What is their feedback on that? And what's actually the alternative? Like what the another 55% is doing? I mean, what the process is for their factoring?
We kept the as-is process what we did before the DigiFactor solution. So we let the customer decide whether they want to use the DigiFactor or not, because we still believe that even we found the compliance-proofed solution for the XML keys, how the client only set up and we do not store it. Even this is a sensitive thing, and the customer can decide whether they want to use with this way of the financing solution or not. And what I experienced during these 9 months, that some of our customers who are much more digitally matured, I would say, they can really easily accept the new innovations, but those who are really bit in a conservative way of financing, they prefer to see, to check, to double check, to triple check what they submit to the bank. And sometimes I think this is an obstacle to start using the new innovation.
All right. Is there something that you have been done in another way if you started this project right now?
It's a tricky question because there is always room for improvement. However, I would say that, as I mentioned, 1.5 years, for us, I think it was not too much to come with a new solution to our customers. I think we can also decrease the manual work at the back office, also give a very easy to use customer experience with the click solution. So I would say no at this moment.
Okay, all right. And just to focus on that moment. So you started this development right after, we can say, 3 or 4 years after the mandatory invoicing was kind of implemented already in the country. Yeah, and Camila showed with Maya a great example where we expected the invoicing becoming obligatory. This year you created already the solution ready for the customers, and but this is not on the market yet. What is your main motivation? What was your main motivation when you started doing this?
The most important reason to integrate with XEF was obviously to meet the regulatory requirements, but when it comes to factoring process, this is how we want to build our competitive advantage. So we want to be one of the first factors on the market who offer this solution, who can download invoices directly from XEF. And this is what our clients expect, especially our larger clients, our strategic clients. They just want us to offer so modern and simple solutions for them, to simplify the process, to reduce manual work. And for our company, security of transactions is very important. So this is our most important goal in this project. And I believe XEF is a promising opportunity to reduce risks, to reduce risk of fraud, to reduce risks of financing manipulated or fake invoices. So these were our driving forces.
Do you have some targets in your minds, in the sense that when it goes live, which percentage of the customers you would like to have using this solution?
This is a tough question. We conducted a survey among our clients because we wanted to anticipate their interest in our solutions. So we estimate that in the first period, only big companies, only our larger clients will give us access to XEF as this third entity, because we asked them the following questions: what software do you use, which accounting system you have, which ERP systems you have, and do they offer the possibility to embed factors data in XML files for free. So now we know that especially the smallest accounting systems do not. So in the first stage, we do not want to force our clients to give us access to XEF, rather encourage them. So we want to tell them about our solutions, show them our solutions. So, hey, look, this is something we did in PKO Factoring. This is how it looks like. Now we can download your invoices directly from XEF. These are the benefits you can achieve. All you have to do is just put our data in XML files, so why not use it? So we will go in encouraging, rather not forcing clients to give us this access.
I think at the banking side, we have a very tough work to educate our clients, because sometimes what we are facing that they are not financially mature to accept this kind of a digital solution immediately. We also have to encourage what you mentioned and to educate them.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Education, training, showing, encouraging, these are very important aspects of these solutions.
Yeah, just maybe to give the background that here all the representatives of the factoring companies here have the digital process, the standard one when the e-invoicing is not implemented as a regulation or as a mandatory one, when the customer just uploads invoices in PDFs in the application on the websites and can get financed within minutes or within 24 hours purely digitally. So here, and also there is of course a part of the customers offering traditional semi-digital or not digital part of the process, and probably with this we would target this digital customers first and then pursue the other part of the customers. Yeah, Christian, what are your first insights and yeah, what's happening now on the Romanian markets? We just discussed it during the break, and yeah, I know that you are not as much optimistic on that in sense of how it can accelerate the invoice finance.
Like anything that is imposed by the government, it's mandatory. So we expect that there will be a big traction because everybody has to move to this invoice. I don't see it as anything revolutionary. I think it's an evolutionary process. We heard from Katalin how long it took, and from you how long it took to get to 30% acceptance in Hungary, and you were quite happy with 2.5 years. The legislation started there 6 years ago. We are starting now. Like any government project, it will take forever to be functional, and we'll go through this hype curve that you reminded us of. Thank you very much for that. I think if we meet here again in 5 years, 98% of all invoices will be served to factoring around Europe or to the countries that implemented this in this format. It will save some costs. There will be some operational gains. But again, we're not talking something like it will change the landscape of invoice financing. I don't think. This is my personal opinion. It's nice to have. It's great.
It's not to have
it's an
for
additional
factory companies or for the customers?
Look, we've been doing embedded finance for 5 years now. We are integrated with banks, with EDI platforms. We've done, I think, to date more than 25 integrations. Most recently with our colleagues in Serbia. We are present in several markets now: Romania, Serbia, Spain.
Yes.
All of them have invoice, and we are working with that. Okay. The fact that you have that, it does not mean that you'll have a great usage. Those that want to use it and they need financing, they will use it. But don't expect that just by having that, you will see a big surge of 300% growth of volumes. No. It will be, instead of getting the PDF, like you said it earlier, you will get it
You just give a consent.
with this.
Yeah.
I would also question, I'm questioning to myself, I don't know what the colleague, I'm happy to get some feedback from Katalin, he has more experience than me, but I think it will not eliminate fraud. If one wants to use the government portal e-invoice for sending a fake invoice, they will still do it in a collusion with the supplier. What's the problem for me to upload an invoice, send it to the tax office with the other guy on the other side, and to use the process together? Nothing changes, if you ask me. I think maybe the fact that it's also there is an additional proof in court against the fraudster. I can see that some of them will be detracted by this, but it will not completely eliminate the risk for confirmation of delivery of service, etc. I think, but again, anything is better than nothing. I agree with you. In that sense, there is progress, and yeah, that's my feedback. I don't think we will see something that will blow us away, but it's a step in the right direction.
If I can comment on that, I completely agree with you. That's why in my presentation, I didn't use the words eliminate risks, but minimize, reduce. Maybe somehow we can reduce the risks, because we do not want to finance invoices that are not confirmed in XEF. But as you said, it will not eliminate fraud at all. It is not the remedy for all of the problems we are facing.
What's the situation in Hungary?
Yeah, so it won't eliminate fraud, but it will decrease significantly. I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but the VAT gap decreased significantly after e-invoicing was introduced. I can send you over the exact numbers. I think it's much more difficult to issue fraudulent invoices in an e-invoicing scheme, and the tax authority has their own algorithms running in the background, so they will track when two parties are collaborating, not from a financing perspective, but from a VAT perspective. And that's also, again, a threshold for the fraudsters to jump over. So it makes fraud definitely much more difficult than it used to be.
Okay, that's a good information. Thank you for sharing.
Do you have some, Boglarka, experience or some comparisons on the frauds that you encounter with this solution and before, for example? Have you analyzed this?
No, we haven't analyzed that.
Okay.
So no experience.
What is, if you turn back to the embedded finance, how it can be different? Katalin, mainly I will ask you on that, as you have this great experience in implementations, integrations, how it's different for the SMEs and for the larger companies.
For the small companies, you could see the example that, I'm issuing an invoice, and right when I issue the invoice, I can, click on it. I want the cash now, basically. So I think this is something that we discussed, that finance becomes contextual. So I am thinking about financing the invoice whenever I issue it. I want to cash it out from an SME's perspective. And it is the same for the solution that Boglarka has also showed us, that, all the invoices are there. Okay, I want to finance them, or I want to automatically finance them. So that is for, I don't know, one segment. The other segment is where the user uses not an online invoicing solution, but they use their own ERP system. So we are just starting to explore that space. So how larger companies or companies with their own ERP solutions, or those companies who don't want to initiate the process from the bank system, but from their own ERP. So it can be also implemented that the company uses their own ERP and they only share the invoice data which they want to finance with the bank. So I fully understand the trust issue that the company doesn't want to share all invoice data, but only that they want to finance. So I think it will be a little bit different word now, and it will be much better for the customers, and it makes, like, really, as I said, it puts the financing process into a context.
Yes. So this process that you showed on your presentation, on your slides, that's really, I mean, being in SME, I can confirm that it really looks like a perfect one. You issue the invoice. This is the very right moment where you actually might need, or might want to get it financed right now, because you know that the term of payment is 2-3 weeks, or counterparty will delay or something else, and you need this money right now. And this a very perfect moment actually get it embedded and finance it in the context of the business moment. And we have some examples, of course, on the market. We'll talk a little bit also in the next panels.
One more thing to add. So, and it's also good for the factoring companies, because you don't have to sell the factoring product. It's just you want to sell the opportunity to have the cash now. So you don't have to explain what is factoring. You just say, do you want to have the money now? And that's it. And you don't have to put the additional sales effort into the process if you go one step behind.
Do we have some questions from the audience? Does somebody want to ask our panelists on the topic?
Can I answer the question that was not asked yet? I'm joking. I have a comment for you. It sounds all idealistic and beautiful, and I can see, Katalin, that you're extremely strong expert in e-invoicing and cloud solutions and all this. But it's actually not as simple to sell this idea. You talk about cash. I know, and you, Olena, you are a super educated client, right? So you've been talking about invoice financing for the last few years, and you are the queen of invoice financing conferences in Central and Eastern Europe. So it doesn't work like that, guys. In real world, there is a huge educational process to explain to in our case, to the small company, micro company, small companies. We're not dealing with the corporate clients that are sophisticated. They know factoring for tens of years. It takes time. They have a lot of questions to be answered. It's not, you can promote it in any type of shape you want. You say money in your pocket, your money in your pocket today, cash for you. You can remove the word factoring. It's not like that. The guy calls, he's asking a lot of questions, but do I need to disclose this to my client? What happens if my client doesn't pay on time? Do I have to pay you back? What happens if the client rejects this? Will there be additional costs? And all these things, they need to be answered, and it's a learning process for them. It's not the fact that you just put it out there, you find a very nice marketing things, they will use it in droves. It doesn't happen like that in real world. The conversion rates are, we have a lot of players here in the room. If you want, let's do a show of hands here. How many people work in factoring companies here in the room? Could you please show of hands? So we have like maybe 10 people here. How many of you have reached conversion rates of higher than 20%? When I say 20%, from prospect to becoming a client and living with the money in hand. Can you see a show of hands? Higher than 20%? So one person. Congratulations. It doesn't happen. You see?
Why?
So this is from the leads. The question was how many ask for money, how many live with the money? There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions, but
a lot of
we'll discuss later, because this is also about the acquisition of the customers, right?
We can
discuss
the next panel by 1 hour just to try to answer this question. It's a lot of hurdles, believe me. It's an education. And the biggest difficulty, based on my experience, is the fact you're dealing with multiple actors, okay? Unlike when you talk to somebody who wants a loan or a financing or they want a credit, you're dealing with the client, right? It's one-to-one. Here, you're dealing with one-to-one to many, because your client have other buyers. They have no idea who you are. Maybe when PKO or you call in Hungary, KHN, KH, they know who you are, right? So if you call the buyer, they say, okay, they heard of PKO, they heard of KNH. When Fortrans is calling in Czech Republic, even in Poland, they will say, who are you? Why are you calling me? You want me to do work for you? To confirm you the invoice? What's in it for me as a buyer to confirm this invoice? Very complicated process. Many times the seller doesn't want you to call their client because they say they will be annoyed. I'm a small supplier to this big company. DSV, anybody from DSV in the room? The big logistic company, European-wide. If you call DSV Department of Confirmation of Invoices, they will not be happy to talk to you, believe me.
That are the challenges of the product, not the invoicing, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't want to give names, I don't want to offend anybody here, but I remember 2-3 years ago, a big German international group, German-based by international group, they refused to confirm invoices for transport companies. They refused. They said, we have a policy, we don't confirm invoices. At the same time, they were not paying on time their dues to the transporting companies, right? So what these guys did, they started a forum on a big marketplace of transport, and it only took is one guy, one transport company, they started to complain. This company, I'm not going to give names, not to, maybe somebody's here, but I'm happy, it's not good to disclose names. They said, this company doesn't want to confirm my invoices, but at the same time, they're not paying. Don't work with them anymore. The others joined the conversation.
These are the general
and in about 2 weeks, there were like 100 plus companies complaining about this international group. What do you think it happened? The company started to confirm invoices or to make the payments, yeah, because nobody wanted to work with them anymore. So,
what's your ideal process of the factoring or invoice finance? If there is no limitation, technical ones, regulation is perfect. What's the ideal process?
It's the lack of education, believe me. I mean, we have from the beginning of the longest time we've been in Romania, we register. Listen to this. I think I mentioned this some time ago in one of your conferences, Olena. In Romania, we have registered users in our platform 2 times the whole market volume of clients. In 2022, in Romania, 3,300 companies accessed factoring from all the market.
Which is 1%.
I have 2 times that as users in our account. But many of them have no idea why they came to us. They saw something with money. Yeah. They said, I have an invoice to the telecom company. Can you pay it for me? Or I have an invoice from a client that didn't pay me in 2 years. Can you finance me the invoice? So a lot of examples. I would say 30-40% of all those are people that saw some kind of something with money.
But
even
maybe
individuals.
This is okay, but maybe this is okay because for us it doesn't
but what
care
I'm saying is
how the
it's
factoring
the
company
education.
calls.
If you ask me what's the number one, can we
educated customers? So the real world.
Can we spam the people's
customers.
brains with a folder that explains what factoring is, what are the advantages? That would be the
Hyperloop,
chip in the brain,
Christian,
the
but
information dissemination.
Let's remember that the SMEs, they don't need to know what the factoring is, how in the sense of how the product managers of the factoring companies know the product. This is not that, right? And let's wrap up this panel because we are...
these numbers stand in all Europe. So I checked these numbers in all Europe. So 3,300 companies out of a population of 800,000 companies in Romania is less than 0.5% ever access factoring in a year. But it's the same in Serbia. Our colleague in Serbia is here.
Average is 1%.
It's the same in Italy, it's the same in Spain. So that's actually the problem. The less than 1% all over Europe is the same in Poland because I know the numbers in Poland.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But that's where technology comes in. So it doesn't solve all your problems. It makes easier to, tackle them.
Yeah.
We have one question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Olena. So, hi, the room. Hi, everybody online. My name is Eleanor. I'm from the International Chamber of Commerce. One remark, Christian, I'm desperately looking for panelists for my panel at 4 o'clock on the digitization of trade, finance, and factoring. I hope you will join me because I found some of your remarks very interesting, so we can continue our discussion. And I have a question just because I wasn't really sure for Katalin and Bogi. So if I understood that correctly, currently the system you presented is a domestic one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Any plans to evolve that into a cross-border system?
The thing is that so the system that Boglárka explained is connected to the Hungarian tax authorities system. So that is kind of a domestic scheme and domestic system. However, e-invoicing regulations will be introduced throughout Europe, I think by 2026 or 28. It was kind of delayed. So in the next couple of years, which means that, as I said, invoice data will be accessible in a standardized and structured way. And that will enable the emergence of cross-border solutions too, and cross-border platform systems, cross-border data exchange. And there is another level of, aiming for global e-invoicing interoperability. So it will, eventually come to the cross-border space as well. Now it's more like isolated countries implementing their own solutions, but I think it's already a huge improvement that it can happen within borders, and then it can happen also cross-border in the not that near future, but next couple of years, definitely.
Yeah. All right, and to wrap up the panelists, Katalin mentioned e-invoicing is becoming obligatory and in several years will be implemented all over the European Union. Just last words from you to wrap up. What do you see the next steps should be done to not only actually implement this project because of the compliance and to have costs, but also try to monetize on that and using this tool to actually acquire more customers and have this percentage of SMEs, especially financed with the invoice finance using the e-invoicing tool. What are your thoughts on that?
I think factoring companies should think about how they can use invoice data, what kind of solutions are there on the market, how they want to become part of the open data ecosystem. So I think this is something that everyone needs to think about and start looking for the technical solutions and technology providers who can help with that journey.
Yeah.
And I think also the data is the new oil, as we know, so we can use it or reuse it for any other purposes, as we are currently already doing on the retail side. Why not on the corporate side, especially in lead management, or just examining the behavior of our customers to have a tailor-made solution for them, and so on and so forth. But I think the data is very important having there in the company.
Yeah, sure. Camila?
Actually, I was thinking about XEF and wanted to ask you about your experience, because I was thinking whether XEF as a method of getting invoices directly from this national platform is competitive to other methods of embedded invoice financing. So like the possibility to send the invoice directly from accounting system to the factor systems. Which method is better? Because I believe XEF, so all of our clients already have to integrate with XEF. They have to do this integration. So all they have to do is just put factors data in the XML file. And this other method, it is really fast, it is really quick, it can let the client finance the invoice immediately, but it is maybe not that cost effective because it may be expensive to integrate with dedicated factors API. What do you think? What is more effective for our clients?
It depends on the country's e-invoicing scheme, so how it is built up. For example, in Hungary, some data fields are not mandatory to fill, which is very useful for the factoring process. So I think like the payment deadline is not is not a mandatory thing. So it depends on, what is mandatory, what are the data that you need, and it also depends on the so the tax authority won't become a sales channel for you. An online invoicing solution can become a sales channel for you. So it's not only the data access, but there are other considerations as well. But if you have the tax authority as a data source, then you definitely don't have to do all the integrations.
Yep. And when you have this e-invoicing in the ecosystem for the customer, then it's cool. You can do it embedded finance right now. But then if you don't, then the source of structured e-invoice data is actually the data that you can finance the invoice, not having the e-invoicing ecosystem in the e-invoicing platform in the ecosystem, right? Christian, would you say something positive to wrap up the panel?
No comment.
All right. So we are finishing the panel. Thank you very much, Katalin, Voglarka, Camila, and Christian. And we have a lunch break, and we are back at 2:00. Thank you very much.